a bit of talk about.
So is he not bumping his hand because DRX have leaked Talon scrims? This is like the supposed. Let's hear it though.
Refusing the handshake and all this.
I mean, dude, that's bro. I mean, honestly, at that point, I don't even blame the guy.
And there was a question mark on whether we would get anything
Allegedly.
between these two. Because, just to paint a little bit of the picture behind this story, there have been lots of rumors and discussions from Frost especially that in the Pacific region there is lots of scrim sharing, let's say, going on when certain teams will scrim another team and they will reveal those results of the scrims, or let's just say the compositions the team is using, to their friends on other teams to potentially give them an advantage. This has been a big rumor. I mean, look, this is done. I'm certain that this is done. We'll even see some evidence of it in a second. Who's been doing it? That's a different question, but Frost has been on record to say that, you know, he thinks this Termy guy has wronged him in multiple ways, such as in this way. So he decides to look him in the eyes and not fist bump him, not shake his hand, not show any respect, and Termy gives him like a hell of a death stare right here. But, you know, Frost looks away, claps his hands and says, yep, good luck team. And, you know, he gives a thumbs up to the players to kind of say, look, nothing against you guys necessarily, but clearly something against the coach. So, you know, very spicy, real spicy stuff, and a few things to share really before we talk about the game. I mean, I saw this tweet going around here from Fade, who's a coach for Wolves, and he says, unfortunately, scrim sharing happens way more often than you can imagine. I've even experienced it against my team before. This screenshot was given by a coach that got approached by another team's coach a couple of days before our match. And, you know, this guy does this thumbs up and says, can we be a scrim partner? Also, I can share about next match I sent to who.
I mean, bro, based off of the blurred text here, it's nah. We can't fucking speculate.
Whoever before if you need. So, you know, clearly this type of stuff is happening here. And there was a couple of tweets actually from Jess I thought were pretty interesting. Look, I know people are crashing out.
Trick said, you're a fucking loser if you can't handle the most surface level beef. The guy didn't shake a hand, bro. Get a grip.
Over this. At the end of the day, this is just good trash talk in my opinion, right? Like, obviously these guys don't like each other. Frost feels like this guy's disrespected him in the past, so he's going to disrespect him back. Like, it's sports, baby. You know, it is what it is. I've got no issue with this at all. I think it's entertaining, and it added a bit of spice to the match. Now, of course, because Talon went on to lose, people are going to say, oh, Frost has been clowns, like, show some respect, clown, or whatever, and that's certainly what DRX said after the series, but, you know, I think it's fine either way. Now, Jess in the reply said something pretty interesting. It's not as surface level as people claim when Frost has dealt with that coach sharing his VODs and making comments about his mother.
Making comments about his mother is crazy. What the fuck?
Which I thought was interesting. I've actually not heard about this before. So, you know, look, I don't know what was said. I don't know what context it was said. I'm just sharing what's been put out there on the timeline today. What
the mother thing is misconstrued. It was a mistranslation.
Point do we forgive Frost for not wanting to be around or touch the man?
He only said your mom.
It
wasn't that serious.
Then, you know, this was actually probably the better graphic that I probably should have thrown on the thumbnail. But, I mean, this goes hard, right? This actually goes really hard. But this is the picture. And Jess says, yeah, this is going to be an iconic moment. He stood on stage and made a choice to not acknowledge someone who had wronged him multiple times. And at the end of the day, Frost actually did a tweet afterwards and say, look, this is, you know, to some degree, this was pretty good publicity for Frost's perspective. Because as he says, for all the new people tuning into
this tweet to me is like, I don't know. Now this tweet makes it look like a bit, but I don't know.
Pacific, you missed a ton last year. This region is very exciting. Continue supporting this league. I thought it was really rather nice. But look, the point is that Frost, by refusing the handshake, people are talking about it. People are talking about the scrim sharing, and all of a sudden it may be Frost's intention in terms of what he wanted to achieve.
Truly the best day for the unemployed.
Out of this has very much come true. Of course, at the end of the day, they still lost. They still got slammed. And look, this was probably inevitable, right? Where we've seen it. Talon simply alternate between winning and losing. This was a losing series, and they lost it. DRX.
They got 13-4.
13-4 icebox on Talon. The fracture actually went to an overtime. They could have potentially won this one, Talon. They gave it a good go in the second half, but in the end on the fracture, just not quite enough. And DRX advanced on in the bracket. So
check Jen Lee's tweet. She's the translator. So Jen Lee is saying that the mother or family was never mentioned. It was mistranslated. And that what Termy said is, I feel like there was a lack of sportsmanship and manners. So that's what she's saying here.
Jet, I mean, G2 eventually won the Lotus 15-13.
Wow, that is a strong statement.
And then the final map here on
That's
the
a strong
Ascent,
statement.
you know, this was when
That is a strong thing. He said, as someone who's been in an esports team for over 20 years, I will retire tomorrow if there's any credible evidence that states DRX leaked Scrim information. But if no evidence is presented, then I demand Coach Frost take full responsibility for fueling these baseless rumors. That is a strong statement for sure. I mean, I read through it all in my head, but you can read it as well on your own. But damn, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie, bro. He said, if you have evidence of me leaking, I will retire today.